What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, what I want to discuss is what some are calling a massive down payment. Yes, the $3.5 trillion infrastructure package is considered a down payment to progressives, and I want to explain why that is. We're also going to dive into this potential $100 boost to Social Security, and this is going to happen in 2022. I'll explain more on that in just a minute. We're also going to talk about how more assistance could be coming, talk about the stimulus check and why this is not over. The talks on a fourth stimulus check are just beginning, and I'll explain why. And first, I want to touch on the child tax credits. So if you could do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button if and only if you enjoy these daily uploads, and also consider subscribing so that I can continue to keep you updated on everything that is currently going on. So here's what we know. We know that millions of families and children are going to be getting these child tax credit payments, and they start today. Great. Well, the White House is stating that this is going to bring roughly 10 million children out of poverty. But here's the issue. 7 million children out of the 10 are actually going to have to go through other steps in order to get these payments because they are outside of the tax system. And I explained this earlier on today. What we know is that about 7 million families, or not really families, but families with roughly 7 million children, however many families that may be, they are outside the tax system. They do not file taxes because their income is just so low. So here's what happened. The IRS was tasked by the Biden administration to figure out a way to get in touch with those 7 million children, figure out a way to find them. So what they are doing and what they have been doing is over the past, I think, few weeks, the IRS has been conducting different community events to make sure that these children are being found. Because if you listen to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he says going on to the irs.gov website and filling out the information within the portal is just so easy, right? You just go on the website, you put in your information, it's easy. Well, it's not so easy. Even as somebody that I'm pretty good with the computer, pretty good with electronics, even I went to this website. I know what website to go to. I clicked on the portal. Again, I know which portal to click on. I obviously talk about this. But even myself, it's not just so cut and dry. It's not so easy. And so the IRS did community events in cities like Atlanta, Detroit, Miami, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Houston, DC, Milwaukee, and even St. Louis. And there's more cities as well. I don't want to list every single city, but they did all these different kind of outreach programs to find families, to explain to them and walk them through the process of how you go and do this non-filer portal in order to qualify and get the money for your child, for your children. And so this is actually really good news that the IRS is finding millions of these children and families by simply doing this outreach program. But again, the Biden administration is putting more and more pressure on the IRS, and yet the IRS is struggling because they do not have enough staff. They do not have enough people. And yet what we're hearing now is the IRS might not have any additional funding coming from the bipartisan bill because lawmakers can't agree to include the funding, or they can't agree on really the pay-fors, and they can't agree on how much money the IRS is essentially going to bring in revenue. So again, and some are saying it's about $100 billion, but right now all these discussions are pretty much leading to dead ends because lawmakers can't agree. So again, this child tax credit payment, this is going to greatly reduce child poverty, and this is one of the main reasons why the Biden administration at this point is pushing to try to get this extended all the way through 2025. Now, whether or not this happens, honestly, we don't know, but this is one of their big pushes. This is one of the more popular pieces of legislation at this time, and according to some experts, this is the most popular piece of legislation because stimulus checks haven't been included yet. But again, this is just as of yet. We still got time. But right now, Democrats are saying that the Democrat-only budget reconciliation bill, this is what is currently at a standstill. What we know at this time is Democrats are currently working on the bipartisan bill. And they're working on this with Republicans, but the problem is nobody can agree on the pay-fors. Like I just stated, If the IRS doesn't get the $40 billion, then they're not going to be able to bring in roughly $100 billion according to the White House. Now, some economists say that the $100 billion is actually a little high. They don't expect it to be $100 billion. They expect it to be far less than that. But again, we don't have a CBO score. You know, the Congressional Budget Office hasn't come out and scored this. We don't know what they're saying. But we will see. And as I know more, I promise I will share more. But according to Senator Susan Collins, she stated just a short while ago, the struggle is getting all senators on board with the pay-fors. Reports indicated earlier that the IRS funding was going to go. Like, we were not going to see that. And so that means that the revenue from the IRS won't be included, which means now the senators are back at the negotiation table, back at the drawing board and trying to figure out, is there a way to pay for the remainder of that bill, which is roughly $100 billion? Now, the U.S. Progressive Caucus, they are stating that this is only a down payment and more is to come. And they will continue to push for more. They want to see stimulus checks. They want to see this. Right? They want to see free meals to all school-age children. This is something that some are expecting to be in this package. However, based off of the 5 priorities that progressives have put out there, I don't know if this is going to be included initially. It could be added on later, but according to some experts, they say that children do not need breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day coming from the government. That if families are getting this child tax credit payment and it gets extended, there should be no reason why children also need meals fully funded by the government. Okay, and let me just ask you this. Okay, you can comment down in the comment section below. Do you feel that this would be too much, or do you feel like this is just the right amount of assistance? Give children food, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe 2 snacks, which they did in the past. Throughout the pandemic. Do you think this is too much, or do you think this is needed? And on top of that, also give families $250 or $300 per month per child, which is supposed to cover meals, school supplies, right? Other essentials, right? Housing, and all these different things that children need, right? And so let me ask you, is that too much? Or should lawmakers be looking at a way to take some of that funding, maybe not the child tax credit, but maybe that funding for the free meals to all school-age children, maybe take that and put it into some other piece of legislation, which would provide assistance to people that do not have children or are outside the tax system and they need additional assistance as well, right? Let me know your answer down in the comment section below. Now, what does all this mean for a stimulus check? Okay, what does this mean? Here's what we know. There is still time. Experts are saying right now there is still time because Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer doesn't expect the American Families Plan to even pass until this fall. So sometime in September. So this means that we still have months of negotiating. We still have months of posturing from lawmakers. Progressives in the House, they were planning on a bill that would be anywhere between $6 and $10 trillion. Well, it comes in at $3.5 trillion, which is way short of what progressives initially wanted. So they say they're happy with their 5 main priorities being included into this infrastructure package at this time. But according to reports this morning, some of these things could actually be pulled out if they don't have the pay-fors. And if this doesn't meet the needs that many lawmakers are saying, well, I need this, I need that, and this is what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said, don't do. Don't go and ask for this. Don't go and say you will not vote for the bill if it doesn't include this or X or Y. Don't do that. Keep your powder dry was his exact words. Well, I will keep you informed as we know a little bit more. But again, negotiations are just beginning. This bill, we've only had the framework. Now we're going to start to see the actual legislative text. We will see the actual numbers, what the CBO score could potentially be. Right? And once we get all this information, then and only then will lawmakers either support or oppose the bill, and then they will throw in their other different priorities and agendas. And as we know more, I promise I'll share more there. Now, let's talk about Social Security. And here's the big one. And I said in the title that there could be a potential Social Security boost of $100 per month. And I want to explain where that number is coming from. Now, I stated earlier that the cost of living adjustment for 2022 is expected to be 5.4%. Now, that was actually wrong, okay? And I want to explain where this number came from. The 5.4% was actually the CPI data. This is the CPI, this is the inflation that we've seen over the past year, okay? This is what we've seen, 5.4%. This was not the cost of living adjustment. Actually, after this data came out the other day, the cost of living adjustment, this is COLA, for Social Security beneficiaries, this actually rose by 0.7%. It went from 5.4% previously to now 6.1%. So here's what we are seeing. Some experts are anticipating that the cost of living adjustment would jump to 7% if we continue to see the increase in prices that we've seen over the past few months. Some are expecting we're going to see these increases continue in July. We're going to see it when it comes out in August. So we're going to see it come out for September and October, potentially even in November. And December, we may see prices come back down a little bit. If this happens, the cost of living adjustment is going to be closer to 6.5% based off what experts are saying. This is going to balloon up. So at 1.3%, the cost of living adjustment for 2021, this actually came out to about a $20 increase per person. Well, at a 6.5% cost of living adjustment, the actual monthly benefit will actually balloon up to over $100 per month in additional income. That's where the $100 is coming from, at a 6.5% cost of living adjustment. So this is actually a pretty good boost. It's pretty substantial. But here's the other issue. Right now, if we see a $100 cost of living adjustment, or $100 per month boost at 6.5% COLA, what this means is there is a higher chance that we do not see the Biden administration come forward with a $200 per month boost. We just won't see it. This was most likely a promise that will not be fulfilled by the Biden administration and President Biden. But even though a $100 per month seems like a substantial boost, it does now. But what will gas prices be in 2022? What will home prices be? What will utilities cost? What will food cost? What is a pound of ground beef going to cost in like 6 months? What is the cost of a gallon of milk? What is the cost of a loaf of bread? Right? All these things. We could potentially see these things all spike. And if these do, is $100 really that much more? I don't know, but we will see. Let me know your answer down in the comment section below. Would you be satisfied with a $100 cost of living adjustment boost? Or do you think it should be even more because of the rising prices? Curious. You can put your answer down in the comment section below. Now let me give you a quick update regarding COVID. Many states are very worried that the COVID Delta variant and COVID Plus variant are starting to take hold. This is just the beginning. And right now, these are starting to take over as the most common strain lately. And health experts are actually looking at this very closely and warning us to just be vigilant, to still social distance, wear a mask if we can. Now, just today, we actually heard that LA County, okay, a very large county, largest county, LA County stated that they will require masks indoors. This is actually rolling backwards. So instead of opening up completely, they will now be requiring masks at any indoor venue. Anytime you're indoors, wear a mask, except for your home, obviously. Now, this is going to begin on Sunday, July 18th. This is going to begin at 12 o'clock, okay? So Sunday morning, as soon as the clock turns to Sunday, you will now have to wear a mask indoors. There is going to be no timeline as far as how long this restriction is going to be in place or when this will be lifted. But the mayor states that this will go until health experts or health officials see improvements in the COVID cases. So that is what we know right now. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on, fill you in all the latest news and updates. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Again, if you could and you enjoyed today's update, please hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Also, feel free to share this video with your friends and family over on Facebook so they too know what's going on regarding COVID, stimulus, the infrastructure package, and even the Social Security boost that I addressed today. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.